What's up guys, Marcus here from Studio One Expert, and in today's video we're going to be having a look at the Waves Abbey Road Vinyl plugin. But I'm just going to be focusing on one particular area of this, which is this section right over here, which is a tape stop. So this is a brand new plugin by Waves. It's got a really cool GUI, tons of different tonal shaping abilities with this plugin. I mean, noise, crackle, all the usual suspects that we would expect in a plugin of this genre. And then we've got our wow, flutter, modulator section over here. But like I said, I just want to be focusing on this slowdown section. So, tape stop. Well, we all know what it is. We've heard it on countless records time and time again. I'll give you an example. Okay, so like I said, definitely we've heard that before. And the thing about tape stop is when you need a tape stop effect, there's really nothing else that will come close to it. So, the minute I saw this plugin, that's the first thing I thought was, hey, I'm going to check this out and see how the tape stop is. Let's have a really quick look at the features here. So we've got the stop button here, and this is what engages the tape stop effect. We've got this other button here called auto resume. And what this basically does is once the length of the tape stop that you've set here, once that's done, that it automatically resumes. So the length, we can set it in two ways. We can either dial in a seconds and milliseconds amount over here, or the way that I prefer to work is we have bars. So this, for example, would be 3 bars. We could get it down to 1 bar. So just as an example, let's take this down to 1 bar. Let's click auto resume and have a listen to what happens when the 1 bar is up. Listen to what happens over here. So I'm going to let 1 bar play. I'm going to manually trigger the tape stop and then listen to what happens by the time we hit bar 3 here. Okay, so that's just an auto resume feature, but in our case, I want to be automating these parameters. I'm going to do this all manually. Like I said, the length is pretty self-explanatory. The only other thing is it goes in quarter notes. So as I move down, you'll see that would be 3 quarter notes. This would be 2. That would be 1. Now, I've already gone ahead here, and let me just get rid of this plugin, and I've separated some of these audio events over here. So these are the areas that I want to affect with a tape stop. And for the most part, the length of the regions or the audio events that I cut up, that's the length of the tape stop that I want to happen, meaning that by the end of this section here, I want it to pick back up. So I'm going to take these 3 sections, just to make this a little bit more clear visually. I'm going to separate these down to their own track. So now we're going to be using the tape stop plugin on these audio events, but we're going to let these 2 play together. So first of all, let's just come in here, and I'm going to deactivate that because we're not using it. So now they've got a light version and a regular version, and my guess would be that the light version is for people who are wanting to use this, simply as a bit of a tonal shaping and a tape stop effect. So that's what I'm going to be using for this tutorial over here. Okay, so first things first. I know that I need the time to be a specific time. Like I said, this needs to be a quarter note, this needs to be a quarter note, and this needs to be a half note or 2 quarters. So let's go ahead and we're going to change our time format to bars, and let's set this up quickly. So I can scroll all the way down here. That's going to be 1 bar. So let's set it at a quarter note for its default value. And the next thing is I need to trigger this slowdown effect. So I need to automate that. So I'm going to take this parameter over here, the stop play. I'm going to drag this on. And the next thing I want is the length. And we're going to drag this on as well. Okay, so let's just close the plugin for a second over here. I'm just going to expand my envelope so we can see what we're looking at. Don't need to see volume right now, so we'll remove that. Okay, so this is pretty simple. These are the 3 audio events that I want to affect. So I'm going to highlight these over here. I'm going to go to my stop play, and I'm going to activate and deactivate my stop play based on the length of these over here. And now essentially, we'll be able to play this right away, and we'll be able to hear the tape stop in action. So let's go ahead and let's have a play. Okay, so that's doing exactly what I would expect, and I really like that I'm able to time it. But I want to make some adjustments here. So for example, I'm happy with where the stop play is being triggered and untriggered over here. But for this section over here, I want to change the length. So right now it's set to a quarter note. I want to take this and set it from a quarter note to, we'll go to the 0:2. That'll set it to 2 quarter notes, which would be a half note. So now if we play from bar 3, now another cool effect here is that we don't necessarily have to make the length equal to the length of the audio event that we've cut up here. So for example, I could take this section, which is a quarter note here based on our 93 BPM, and then I could take this and I could change it. So I could go to, let's say, 3/4 notes, and that would pretty much be kind of like the equivalent of me taking this audio event and stretching it out so that the tape stop is happening at a different duration. But keep in mind that we've manually triggered the tape stop to start and stop to be in and out at a certain duration. So essentially, the tape stop effect might be longer or shorter based on the length, but the duration that it is will still be in time. So let's have a listen to see how that sounds over here. So I'm going to go ahead and let's just go ahead and play from, let's say, bar 3. I just want to test out this back end, and I'm going to engage loop so that we can hear how it loops. Okay, so I kind of like that. I kind of like the way it has that extra little pickup. It's got that little offbeat that happens right before the loop comes back to the beginning. Okay, so I'm digging that. So, I mean, this is pretty cool because now from here, the production aspects of things is that we can very easily, I can take these two right over here. Let's create a drum bus. And then I could come in here and I could just slam this with something like a, 1176. We'll grab our CLA 76 stereo, drag that to here. I'll put this in all button mode and go to the top. Okay, and then from here, really the sky's the limit. We could come in here, we could do some cool production tricks where we could kind of take this audio, mess with it a little bit. Maybe I want to make it really glitchy. So we could just do something like this, and then I could just mute every other one of these, have a listen to that. Right, so now we got this really cool sounding effect, and it literally took no time to make. Okay, so one other aspect about this plugin that I like is that we don't just have to do it on an audio event. So instead of, processing this actual audio and doing an offline process where it actually renders it, we can automate this so that it could be happening on a bus track, for example. Or if you really wanted to, if you wanted to affect your whole entire mix, you could have it happening on, even your master. So let's do the same thing over here. I'm going to take this and let's take this off, even though it sounds really cool. And we're going to go ahead and let's put the Abbey Road Vinyl light stereo version on this bus track. And we're going to do the exact same thing over here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I want to make sure that I can automate the parameters that I need. So I'm going to drag this one over, and let's change this to bars. And I'll bring this all the way down. And I need this to be a quarter note as my starting position. And we'll drag the length over here. Now we can take this out. Now we can just go ahead and I'm going to select all three of these and my stop play. I want to automate that so that this is enabled for all these sections, just like we did before. And now I'm going to go over here and I'm going to change the length. So for this section over here, we're going to change this to a half note. And this one, we ended up going with 3/4 notes. So that'll be 0 and the 3. So now essentially we've got the exact same thing. So I could come back to the top here. Okay, so that would be an example of if you wanted to put this type of tape stop effect on your entire mix, you could easily do that. You don't have to worry about rendering audio and bouncing things out and re-importing them into your project and worrying about timing and everything. It's very simple to use. So, Waves Abbey Road Vinyl, using the tape stop. Love this plugin. You guys have done a great job. I hope you guys got something from this, and we'll catch you later. Cheers.